Hello, it's Moira here, and in this tutorial we're going to learn how to work a crocheted rib. So I'm going to use this small little crochet sample that I've got and attach my rib to this. So get the yarn that you want to work your rib in, and I'm going to attach it with a chain stitch. Now I'm attaching my rib into the back loop only as well. So there we go, I've inserted my hook into the back loop and I've attached my rib yarn with a chain stitch. I'm working up 7 chain stitches and my rib's going to be 6 stitches in depth. I now want to work back down my chain. So I'm going to work double crochets and I'm going to work into the second chain from the hook. We're going to work double crochets into the center of each chain. And the double crochets that we're working all the way down, there's going to be 6 of them, because we use the 7th chain as our turning chain. This is my 5th double crochet and now my 6th double crochet. So I've now got a piece of rib, the start of my rib, that's got 6 stitches altogether. I now want to take that piece of rib, the little bit that I've just created, and I want to attach it to my sample. And I'm going to do this with a slip stitch. So I'm going to anchor that row of double crochets that I've just worked into my sample, into the next stitch along on my sample by a slip stitch. There's the beginning of my rib. I've got that row of chains and a row of double crochets. I now want to carry on working the rest of my rib. So to do that, I need to anchor my next row, and I'm anchoring my next row to the next stitch, again using a slip stitch. I'm then creating a chain as the beginning of the next row. From now on, we're going to be working into the back loop of all our stitches, and I'm counting from the hook the 4th stitch along, and I'm inserting my hook into the 4th stitch along. 4 stitches because we had a chain and then we had 2 slip stitches. I'm going to continue working double crochets into the back loop all the way up this row, 6 stitches altogether, so I should have 6 double crochets into the back loop. There's our last stitch there. And we're going to continue going up and down all the way along our sample to actually work our rib. Before we turn to work back down the row, we're going to work 1 chain stitch. I always work the chain stitch before I turn, because this then gives us a clear view of the stitch that we want to put our hook into, which is the 2nd stitch from our hook. And working back down this row, again, we're working 6 double crochets into the back loop. Now do be careful you don't actually pick up an extra stitch at the bottom. It's quite easy to do that, so it's worth counting those first few rows of stitches. Again, as before, we need to anchor that particular row we've just worked to our sample, and we've done that again with a slip stitch. Next slip stitch along is the start of our new row. I'm turning my work and then going to work a chain stitch. And again, we're going to be inserting our hook the 4th stitch from the hook. So we can see our rib is now worked as a 2-row pattern. Row 1, we slip stitch into the body of our work, then we chain 1, and then we're going to double crochet back loop only into the 4th stitch and work our double crochet back loop all the way up our row until we come to the end of the row, and then we work 1 chain stitch. The next row is going to be double crochet back loop only again into the 2nd stitch from the hook, and we double crochet back loop only all the way down that row. And when we get to the bottom of the row, we need to anchor that row to the body of our work, and we do this by anchoring it with a slip stitch. You continue working these 2 rows of rib until all the stitches on your body have rib attached to them. If you have found this tutorial on working a crocheted rib useful, please do subscribe to Daisy Knots channel. Thank you.